It's Wednesday, November 10th, 2021, and the morning edition is live. On today's show, education officials putting plans in place to help students catch up, the environment on display at Aquinas College, an immune booster hits the shelves locally. So let's start the morning off right. And welcome to the morning edition. I'm LaDawn Davis. Well, just in case you're wondering why I'm alone on set this morning, well, my co-host Desmond Saunders has switched roles and is not only preparing a scrumptious meal at Cafe Shining Noel, but he's also joining me live on our streets. Desmond, how's it looking out there on our streets this morning?
LaDawn, I know you're in the warm studios down there at 3rd Terrace, Centerville, but I'm here on Blake Road, where it's so windy, chilly, under partly cloudy conditions right here on Blake Road. As you can see, and I know Rodney can get a picture at the back of me, there's some road work taking place, so I want you motorists and pedestrians to be careful of this. If you're traversing in this area, you want to be careful of that. Also, wherever you are, high visibility, there's a lot happening on the streets. You want to make sure you drive with extreme caution and stay alive, all right? Joining me in the broadcast this morning, traffic report, Superstar Corporal Patrick Kemp. Good morning, sir. How are you doing? And what are those areas that we need to be careful of?
Good morning, Mr. Sanders, and good morning, Bahamas. And pretty much all areas, while you're traveling through the streets of New Providence, it behooves all of us as drivers to plan your road, to exercise caution, and to be our brothers' keepers whilst we're on the streets. Especially in this area, if you notice the works that's going on at this time, we have a lot of loose gravel. And that could cause a bit of a challenge for persons, especially who are traveling in this area. So I'm going to encourage the drivers who are traveling in the eastern and western direction in the Blake Road, West Bay Street area to exercise caution. Loose gravel, especially how the ground is wet at this time, can cause your vehicle to lose control. We have at this time an accident with injuries in the Antigua Street and Michael Road area. Again, I'm going to say to the drivers, please drive with due care and special attention while you're on the streets.
All right, so there you have it, Corporal Patrick Kemp reminding all of us to be careful on the streets. A number of road works taking place in various areas in the city, so we want to be careful of that. And the streets are wet, so do not speed, please. Speed factor is very, very important and significant. So these are the things I want you guys to be alert and be careful of. Have a great day. LaDawn, back to you in the studio.
Thanks a lot, Desmond. And staying on the outside, high pressure continues to build across the Bahamas and promote moderate to locally fresh winds. Meanwhile, a cold front near southeast Bahamas continues to exit the area. Special warnings: boaters should exercise caution due to the presence of moderate northerly swells. There is a risk of waterspout activity in the southeast Bahamas. Beachgoers and swimmers should exercise caution along east coast beaches due to the threat of rip currents and rough surf. For all areas, partly to mostly cloudy and breezy with isolated showers and the chance of an isolated thunderstorm or two in the southeast Bahamas. A few stray showers elsewhere. A small craft advisory remains in effect due to the presence of swells. Winds northeast to east at 15 to 20 knots. Seas 2 to 4 feet near shore, but 5 to 8 feet along Atlantic exposed shorelines. Wednesday's high temperature is 84 degrees with an overnight low of 66 degrees. National security officials say no new legislation is in the pipeline to accompany the rollout of the Sex Offenders Registry. Minister of National Security, the Honorable Wayne Monroe, says that's all due to the fact that the planning of its execution has taken far too long.
I saw that an appointed day notice had been signed by the Attorney General some years ago. I'm not certain that he is the proper minister to sign it. I'm asking the Attorney General for an opinion on that. But I'm going to be briefed on this on Thursday. My understanding is that the software is here and available, that there is, I think, at least one person that it was being tracked to test the system, and I will find out on Thursday why it has not been fully deployed already. The impression I get is that it was ready to be deployed and was simply waiting on the say-so of the minister.
This month, the Ministry of Social Services will place a greater focus on issues facing women and girls. Unfortunately, the month began with the tragic death of young Bella, allegedly the victim of a fatal assault. The tragic incident highlights ongoing issues of abuse and how to detect it head-on. Minister of State for Social Services, the Honorable Lisa Rami.
This month is a special month for women. This is the month that we celebrate women, girl, child, and so we're looking forward soon. We'll be on our campaign, out in the public, giving out information, providing it to the wider public so that they can know who can I go to when I want to report this matter. What can I do?
Tourism officials have been saying it for months. Containing COVID-19 cases is key to keeping the economy trending upward. This is why Tourism Minister, the Honorable Chester Cooper, is supporting the new vaccination policy over in the United States, a move he believes will lead to increased travelers to our shores.
The uptick in vaccination to the tune of almost 150,000 persons fully vaccinated is good for tourism because our research shows that our tourists prefer destinations where there's a high vaccination level. So this is positive all around for us. It's positive for tourism. It's positive for our country. The science is that the best methodology we have in terms of managing COVID is vaccinations.
And while the number of positive COVID-19 cases are decreasing, Health and Wellness Minister, the Honorable Michael Darville, says the key focus now is managing the pandemic and the economy.
I think thus far we're doing a relatively good job, but with that being said, we cannot take things for granted. There's always the possibility of a fourth wave around the corner, and in my job as the Minister of Health and Wellness is to ensure that we prepare the country for the possibility of a fourth wave. But we are pleased, and Bahamians are going back to work. Bahamians are now being able to take care of their own financial commitments, and that is the good news for the Bahamas at this time.
Here are your COVID-19 isolation tips. Protecting others while in quarantine or self-isolation. While in quarantine or self-isolation, use safety measures to protect yourself and community from spreading COVID-19. Being in quarantine or self-isolation can make you feel anxious or stressed. Ensure that you take care of your emotions. Physical distancing does not mean socially disconnected. Stay connected with family and friends digitally. Keep a daily routine. Exercise daily, get rest, eat healthy, engage in activities, avoid unhealthy behaviors, and seek information from credible sources. You are not alone. Contact our hotline at 819-7652 or any of the numbers that appear on your screen.
The year 2022 will kick in with strong emphasis on helping students catch up. This according to education officials who outlined a number of strategies for use in the classroom. Here's Antoinette Smith.
We're committed that we will do all that we can to make up for as much as humanly possible.
When students head into classrooms in January 2022, the hard work begins.
They will be assessed, they will be diagnosed, and those will be put into one of three categories. Those children who are in critical need of intervention, those who require moderate need, and those who are currently at grade level.
These crisis intervention strategies planned in an effort to close the learning gap exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. The data, according to education officials, showing a significant number of students have only sometimes logged into virtual platforms, or in many cases, fail to ever show up. It's a pattern displayed throughout all grade levels, but seemingly more so in those students on the brink of transitioning out of secondary school.
We consider them to be what we call dropouts, and so we are seeking to identify those children or young people and trying to channel them in programs through BTVI national training agency to ensure that they are able to make up for lost ground as best as is possible.
The ministry is also looking to bridge the gap by partnering with UNESCO and CARICOM, acknowledging that the problem here is not only a local one, but one faced worldwide.
All of the research shows that learning loss of that nature has serious impact on the child's personal development, which also has an impact on the national development, because if you have masses of people who have been set back in this way, it's something that we will all pay a price for.
Antoinette Smith, ZNS Network News.
Students from Aquinas College demonstrating their love and commitment for the environment. The initiative is just one of many projects the school plans to tackle in the hopes of getting their preservation of the environment message across. Here's Desmond Saunders.
Over 100 high school students from Aquinas College were part of a coastal cleanup initiative on Goodman's Bay over the weekend. The event, organized by the school's Red Cross and Environment clubs. The students also partnered with the Bahamas Reef Environment Educational Foundation, a local nonprofit organization that educates individuals about the value of our marine environment. President of the Red Cross and Environmental clubs at Aquinas College is Teron Strapp.
So both the Red Cross and the Environmental Club are volunteer-based organizations. We try to volunteer in any aspect of our community, and one of the first outreach activities that we always do is a cleanup. So this year we decided that we can do it at Goodman's Bay with the help and aid of Brief.
The coastal cleanup comes at a time when the world's oceans are in peril due to widespread pollution and depletion. The ocean covers 70% of the planet, supporting humanity's sustenance, produces 50% of the planet's oxygen, and are a vibrant resource for the world's economy.
We not only do beach cleanups because it can clean the environment, but we also like to give an example to our fellow Bahamians out there. Not only does this encourage them to keep a cleanly environment, this encourages them to go out and follow in the same footsteps, gather groups of people who are willing to clean our environment.
Now, students spent hours removing debris and solid waste from Goodman's Bay. This budding environmentalist says their efforts to protect and preserve the environment already getting positive feedback.
We received many applauses and praises due to the amazing work out there, and I would like to extend a thank you to all who was participating. They all worked very hard. Many of the students that participated really enjoyed themselves that day, and they were asking to do many more. And yes, we do plan to have many more outreach activities, whether it's beach cleanups or any other cleanups in other communities and areas that we can help.
Teron hopes their act of kindness would send a resounding message, but spark a global revolution to keep our oceans and planet clean, green, and pristine.
Well, I'm getting hungry, and it's now time to toss it over to our Desmond Saunders, who's been preparing a scrumptious meal for us this morning. Desmond, how are things looking over there?
Well, Adon, you're in the studio by your lonesome self this morning. Sad to say, I love my job. I'm here at Cafe Channing Noel, a very cool spot on Blake Road. They sell pastries, breakfast, dinner, every and anything you like. They've got it right here. A wonderful decor, great atmosphere. So we're going to be here this morning, and we have some beautiful ladies, two beautiful ladies on the side of me. Listen, I'm in my glory this morning, all right? Kindly introduce yourself.
Good morning, Bahamas. I'm Loretta Thomas, and I'm the curator and founder of Cafe Channing Noel.
Thank you very much, and we're going to be talking with her in just a few minutes. And give me your name.
Chef Ramonda.
And tell me what we're going to be doing this morning, just briefly.
We're going to be doing a nice Belgian.
It's going to be good. Just look at this right here, man. It's going to be great. So in just a few minutes, you're going to come back, and we're going to whip up some stuff for you this morning. Back to you in the studio.
Desmond, as we head to the break, we take a look back at the day in Bahamian history. On November 10th, 1960, the new extension of the Prince George Dock was officially opened. Also on November 10, 1984, the new Pinewood Garden subdivision was officially opened.
During this pandemic, it is our duty to ensure that all citizens, residents, and visitors are adhering to the COVID-19 safety protocols. Not wearing a face mask is an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of $200 or a term of 1 month imprisonment or both fine and imprisonment. I am Ambassador Jasmine Scott of the COVID-19 Enforcement Unit. Save a life that may be your own.
This message brought to you by the Ministry of National Security in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Do you want to travel this holiday season? Don't want to miss out on those blockbuster deals? Well, have you gotten your COVID-19 vaccine yet? Time is running out to travel for the holidays, and the Johnson & Johnson vaccine may be just what you need. It's one and done. Just one jab of this vaccine, and 2 weeks later, you're fully vaccinated and ready to shop. Protect yourself and your loved ones this holiday season. Schedule your vaccine appointment now.
Now, popular Bahamian songbird Alia Coley has been mixing up her Mama Cyril drinks or detox teas that seem to be good for low blood pressure, anti-inflammation, heart disease, vision, and relieving fevers. While boasting about the increase in business and customer reviews, Alia says she's excited that despite this pandemic and the rise in COVID-19 cases, her business continues to thrive.
I have clients that have been complaining about inflammation in their bodies, and particularly their knees. I have a lot of clients that are always on their feet, or masseuse that are always doing things, you know, on a very tedious on the body. And they've said, Ali, I need my Cyril. We got people right here too that religiously buy that Cyril to keep their inflammation down. So it's helping them in a tremendous way.
Well, there's even more good news, though. The Mama Cyril can now be found in a local food store and a popular eatery right here in the capital.
So Tasty Caribbean Delights now carries Mama Cyril in a 16-ounce bottle. Also, as of yesterday, I just put it into Tiki Hut, my brother's establishment. So it's also available there as an eatery that pretty much caters to a large demographic in terms of the culinary arts, in terms of Bahamian cuisine, Jamaican cuisine. So a lot of Jamaicans also, you know, Jamaicans love the Cyril. So I mean, it lasts like, I would send them about a case, which is like 24 bottles, and they'll be gone within 3 days.
Well, we have a few pets that are going to, I guess, get their new home over there in Canada. Kelsey Johnson tells us more.
Lacey and Andra, Zelda, Bobby, Leon, and Happy sat quietly in their kennels waiting to board the chartered flight that took them to their new homes in Nova Scotia, Canada. These furry animals were included in the count of more than 100 others who captured the hearts of pet lovers online. I too fell in love with them and asked if I could adopt one. But adopting an animal and preparing them for travel isn't easy. Shelter manager at the Bahamas Humane Society, Percy Grant, explains how it's done.
Each and every dog have to have its own medical, and everything has to be, to a T. And then we have to then pass it over to the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, who's been super. Dr. Hassan and her team has been super with the Humane and trying to get animals to another life. Because unfortunately here in the Bahamas we don't have the volume of adoptions that we would like. And as long as we don't have people spaying and neutering animals, it's going to be a continued, thing.
This trip saw 180 cats and kittens, along with 80 dogs transported to Canada. Grant says more are on the waiting list.
I'm sure Monday morning the cycle starts again. And unfortunately, people feel now that they've heard about these LFs, that they can bring dogs in to go to Canada or America. I don't know why. I don't know where this mentality comes from. So that's another issue. So you got people now intentionally bringing their dogs because they think that they can go in the plane. So we're hoping to curb this.
Grant says the only way to avoid an overflow at the shelter is getting your animal spayed or neutered.
This is going to be crucial if in a disaster. Like you saw Hurricane Dorian, where we had so many animals lost. Of course, our agency would, of course, be concerned for the animals, and of course, people too with the animals is for a greater part. And I remembered when we had to empty the Humane Society shelter, and that's when we first got into these LFs. We had to empty the shelter to accommodate the Abaco section, and we had no idea how large Abaco was because there were so many animals. We ended up with another LF during right in that period.
I decided to say one final goodbye to Tony, Loki, and Vision, Happy, Fred, Dominique, and Sophie. They all captured my heart.
Well, my stomach is growling, and I'm sure the team is a bit hungry. I'm going to check now in with our Desmond Saunders, who's been cooking all morning. Desmond, how's it going in the kitchen? Anything?
Well, actually, at Cafe Chanel Noel. Channing Noel. Cafe Channing Noel. A very, very nice name. I like that. But I had to get out of the studio to come on here. This is one of the coolest spots in the city here on Blake Road. And we've got so much going on. But Chef is here to tell us what we're going to do this morning.
We're going to make a famous Belgian waffle breakfast sandwich.
And this is one of your favorites here, right?
Yes, sir. Very popular.
All right, so let's get into it. And I want to participate. I want to see how this is done so I can taste it. I could let the audience know how it tastes.
Okay.
So we're going to take this egg here. All right. And what else?
And we get our waffle.
Oh, we're getting the waffle together. So what are all the ingredients? We have our egg, we've got our waffle, and what else we've got?
We get ham, cheese, spinach, ham, cheese, spinach, of course,
tomatoes, and everything else. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to come back and get this started. We're going to whip everything up, and when we come back, we'll tell you everything else.
Well, I can't wait. We're going to take a break right after this.
Wants to get HIV, but if you do, it's not the end of the world. Being diagnosed early gives you a chance of living a long and healthy life. Testing is the only way to know for sure if you have HIV, and knowing your status means that you can protect yourself and your sexual partners. Getting an HIV test is quick, easy, free, and your results are 100% confidential. Get tested and know your status.
Going to toss it over to our Desmond Saunders for one final time over there at Cafe Channing Noel. Desmond, how are things going in the kitchen?
Quickly take it.
Well, I'm back here at Cafe Channing Noel, a very cool spot on Blake Road, and I'm making a Belgium waffle breakfast sandwich. We've got all great elements right here. We've got the tomatoes, the pineapples, the eggs. We've already started to whip it up, guys, and I mean, this is going to be great because I'm going to have a part in it. I'm going to put my little essence and little spike and spice to it. I'm joined by the proprietor this morning, Mrs. Thomas. Kindly introduce yourself and tell me about the theme and how this all came together, quickly.
Well, we are an undiscovered little gem here on West Bay Street and Blake Road. Cafe Channing Noel is a French-inspired cafe and patisserie, and it has been a dream of mine. I'm a professional. And this is my little baby on the side.
It has that cozy feeling. Because just, if you could take a look at the colors of the decor, I don't know if my photographer can quickly capture the essence of what this place represents. It's so cozy, and you feel at home.
Yeah, well, in Paris, patisseries are an extension of one's homes. That's how it was actually founded, in the home of a famous baker. Therefore, the decor should reflect that coziness where people gather with friends and family, enjoy themselves, fellowship, have a wonderful meal, and no meal is complete without beautiful pastries.
Well, I'll tell you, this environment is feeling cozy already, and because I'm going to be getting a piece of this, and that chair right there, I'm going to sit back, relax, have me a cup of coffee, and enjoy. So tell me, what's happening here, Chef?
Right now, I'm putting there's ham, egg, bacon, Swiss, and American cheese.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
How long does it take to put everything together?
About 5 minutes.
5 minutes at all. All right, so let's put this together. So we've got there's a provolone cheese, Swiss cheese,
and cheddar.
So this is a good breakfast meal. This is one of your specialties here, right?
Yes, it is. It's very filling also.
Oh, wow. So we're going to try it out. And man, this looks delicious. The Belgian waffle breakfast sandwich. You know, I'm a big foodie. And so I'm going to try this out and test it out and see how it tastes. And I'm going to make you guys jealous out there. I'm going to make you jealous out there. So let's go into it and taste a little bit.
Okay. So shall I hold this for you?
Yes.
There you are. Okay, there you are.
I'm going to take off my mask a little bit. Is this a meal that anybody, wherever you are, can prepare at home?
Absolutely. I'd like to answer that because I have prepared this at home, and I can promise you it is easy to prepare, and it certainly is delicious.
Right.
Absolutely filling and delicious.
Okay, let me try it out. Can take a little piece.
Okay. So I think you can hold that. I think you can manage that.
Yes.
Absolutely. And to top it off, a little maple syrup, And if you want to be really adventurous and you do not have to go to work, I would suggest our honey bourbon syrup.
Oh, wow.
Honey bourbon syrup or honey bourbon honey, really. Bourbon honey.
It's a good taste. I like
absolutely.
I've never had sandwiches with waffles before, but this is different, and it's good. This is a quiet taste, but I love it. I like it.
Absolutely. You know what? It's mixing the sweet and savory, and that is something you have to have a palate to differentiate between sweet and savory, but to appreciate the flavors all coming together.
Well, that's what we're doing this morning, whipping it up here at Cafe Channing Noel. Where did the concept come from, the name?
Well, it's French-inspired. Channing and Noel are actually French origin. And the name Channing Noel is actually my daughter's name.
Wow. So that's what we're doing, giving you the places, the food, the people, the ambiance, the decor, the setup, everything here for you for Morning Edition. Back to you, LaDonna, the studio.
Desmond, you're making us hungry. Well, be sure to stay tuned into the ZNS Network for news as it happens, TV and radio updates throughout the day. Then you can tune into the Northern Edition at 6:30 and the Bahamas Tonight at 7. And that's a wrap for us this morning. For the entire team, I'm LaDonna Davis. Have a great morning, everyone.
First of all, you don't need no validation. You don't need no affirmation from nobody. No, sir. No, on your